Here are the top stories for today, May 29, 2019. Malacanang denies that President Rodrigo Duterte's trip to Japan is a reward to his cabinet members. Before leaving to Japan, President Duterte signs the tobacco tax hike bill as urgent to fund the universal health care program. Labor groups in Negocc Occidental are planning to file a formal petition for a minimum wage increase in Western Visayas in June, and schools in Ilocos Norte upgrade and modernize in time for the opening of classes.
Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Malacanang denied Wednesday that President Rodrigo Duterte's trip to Japan is a reward to his cabinet members. This amid the remark of Philippine Ambassador to Japan Jose C. Laurel V, saying the outcome of the midterm elections, where 8 out of the 12 candidates endorsed by Duterte had won, was an affirmation of the actions of his administration. Malacanang on Tuesday clarified that the trip is not a reward, as each cabinet member who joined the trip has trade missions. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the ambassador may have been either innocently speculating for lack of information or may have been misinformed of the nature of the trip. The agreement is said to yield about 300 billion pesos worth of investments and will generate at least 80,000 jobs. Duterte flew to Japan together with his 16 cabinet members and some 200 delegates to attend the 25th International Conference on the Future of Asia in Tokyo. President Rodrigo Duterte has declared June 5 Wednesday as a regular holiday in observance of Eid al-Fitr. The president signed the proclamation declaring the holiday on Tuesday to give Filipinos a full opportunity to join the Muslim community in the celebration. Eid al-Fitr is the end of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. It is declared under Republic Act 9177 of 2002 as a national holiday, but the date follows the Muslim calendar, which is based on the different phases of the moon. The Commission on Higher Education on Wednesday lauded the Supreme Court's decision that upheld the removal of Filipino and Panitikan subjects in college. In a statement, Chairperson Prospero de Vera said the Supreme Court's dismissal clearly shows that Commission did not abolish Filipino and Panitikan in the general education curriculum. Instead, these subjects are transferred to the senior high school level. De Vera urged all sectors to respect and abide by the decision of the Supreme Court so that revised curriculum for various degree programs can now be fully implemented with dispatch by the close to 2,000 higher education institutions. The Philippine National Police vows to focus on bullying and other crime incidents that may affect students at the start of the school year. More on this and other news around the metro from Janice Cabe.
The PNP is on the lookout for incidents of bullying in preparation for Balik Eskwela 2019. PNP Chief Oscar Olbayaldes said they are forming task units that will focus on preventing bullying, as well as other threats of kidnapping and bomb scare. This is apart from the police assistance desks being set up in coordination with the Department of Education, CHED, and LGUs. About 120,000 police personnel will be deployed on the first day of classes on June 3. Meanwhile, UV Express operators and commuters are asking for a dialogue with the LTFRB over its proposed point-to-point system. They said point-to-point trips will affect students, persons with disabilities, pregnant, and senior citizens who depend on UV Express, adding that the proposed system will cause them to miss their destinations. The group said a dialogue will help authorities understand the situation of commuters. In other news, the Philippine Navy gave IBF Superflyweight champion Jerwin Ancajas a welcome home ceremony at the Marine Barracks in Fort Bonifacio, Taguig City on Tuesday. Ancajas won his 7th title defense against Ryoichi Funai in Stockton, California last May 5. Ancajas is a Chief Petty Officer at the Naval Reserve Force. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Still to come, President Rodrigo Duterte has certified as urgent Senate Bill 2233 or the tobacco tax hike bill. And Davao City opens a 70 million peso food terminal complex. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
The Environment, Tourism and Interior Departments recommended to close Boracay for 6 months.
To address issues such as illegal structures and faulty drainage systems that is affecting Boracay's prized beach.
The last time na nandito is 2017. It's actually crowded. Sobrang dami ng tao. Everywhere, makikita mo talaga bars and drinks and makalat talaga.
We had more cases of skin disease. We had more cases of diarrhea.
So nagkasama-sama lahat ng mga agencies, tiningnan ano ba ang plano natin sa Boracay, compliance on Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, at saka yung ating environmental compliance.
When they started demolishing, we saw that there was action, that they put their money where their mouth is.
Lahat ng nagamit na tubig ng customer, we collect it through our sewer lines and then it goes through a treatment process sa treatment plant.
It was nice that it happened. Finally, Boracay got the attention it is in deep need of.
I think a lot of work was done during the closure. The water is clear, the oceans are clean, there seems to be a lot of wildlife returning. We had for the first time in 10 years, we had turtles hatching on the beach a couple of days ago.
During the closure, you could see like the eagles came back and everything that we have had for a long time.
Pumasyal pa nga yung mga kwan dito Budanding, galing ho na Cebu.
In the end, it's a good thing, yes. It was hard for us, but it was also a wake-up call.
The beach was cleaned up and is officially set to reopen on October 26th.
Wala nang kumakain sa beach, bawal nang manigarilyo.
Gumanda yung isla namin as in bumalik sa dati na ambience.
We teach kids about pollution, solid waste management, because they're the ones who will sustain all the things that we're doing now.
President Rodrigo Duterte has certified as urgent Senate Bill 2233 or the tobacco tax hike bill. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara said the measure is expected to be voted on upon passing through second reading. Senate Bill 2233 seeks to increase the excise tax of cigarettes by 45 to 60 pesos per pack. Just like the taxes from other sin products, tobacco taxes will be used to fund the government's universal health care program. Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri expressed confidence that the bill would be passed by Monday next week at the latest. Authorities arrested a 65-year-old drug suspect and seized 10 million pesos worth of shabu in a buy-bust operation in Pateros Tuesday. NCRPO Chief Guillermo Eleazar identified the suspect as Angelo Reyes. The suspect yielded a total of 1,500 grams of shabu, 1 Toyota Altis, 10 bundles of 1,000 poodle money, and drug paraphernalia. Eleazar said that based on investigation, Reyes is connected to a group of Chinese nationals engaged in the illegal drug trade operating in the southern part of Metro Manila and Laguna. He stated that authorities will be conducting follow-up operations in order to find the other suppliers of illegal drugs. A member of the Abu Sayyaf group was killed while 4 others were wounded on the ongoing pursuit operations of the military in Sulu on Monday. Westmincom spokesperson Jerry Besana said military troops are conducting focused operations against a group of Mundi Sawadjaan in Barangay Sanda in Patikul. Sawadjaan's group is held responsible for the attack in Barangay Igasan, which led to the death of 2 children last Saturday. Westmincom Chief Lieutenant General Arnel de la Vega said they have intensified their operations against the Abu Sayyaf following their recent attacks on communities. Labor groups in Negros Occidental are planning to file a formal petition for a minimum wage increase in Western Visayas on June. The General Alliance of Workers Associations on Tuesday said they are requesting the Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board to provide them with economic indicators to support the petition. The labor group said they are considering to petition for an increase of up to 100 pesos daily. Under the existing wage order, the minimum rate in Western Visayas, including the cost of living allowance, ranges from 295 to 365 pesos per day. A new public library is set to be constructed in Negocc City. Meanwhile, new trading posts for small-scale farmers open in Davao City. These and other news from the provinces from Miguel Hill.
In Leyte, a new public library will soon rise between Ormoc City Hall and the Ormoc National High School. Mayor Richard Gomez on Tuesday cited the need for the new library to replace the existing and rundown one. He says the local government will consult with school officials to know what are the best reading materials and equipment needed by researchers. In Davao City, a 70 million peso food terminal complex finally opened on Tuesday to serve small-scale farmers. Mayor Sara Duterte led the opening of the food terminal, which she guaranteed would benefit the farmers and the customers in Davao City. She said the food terminal seeks to boost food security and defeat hunger amid the changing climate and increasing food demand. In Zamboanga City, 1st District Representative Celso Lobregat filed his electoral protest questioning the victory of incumbent Mayor Maria Isabel Climaco Salazar in the recently held midterm polls. Lobregat accused Salazar's camp of irregularities such as the use of public funds and government resources for an election campaign. Salazar, in a press conference Monday, welcomed the electoral protest filed by Lobregat. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
Up next, schools in Ilocos Norte upgrade and modernize in time for the opening of classes. And let us check out the weather and find out if we are already in the rainy season. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
After 31 years, kita mo, nagkakaroon na ng pagbabago dito sa radio, television, Malacanang.
The Philippines has been hailed as one of the top 9 out of 12 countries in Asia recognized as halal destinations. Marilu Ampuan, president of Halal Trade and Tourism Expo, said this was brought by the cooperation of the government and private sector in improving the country's halal industry. In Davao City, there are 10 halal-certified restaurants and over 30 potential halal hotels and other establishments. She said the country's recognition as a halal destination is a challenge to the government and industry players to strengthen cooperation, marketing, and promotion to improve the country's halal rating and be at par with other ASEAN countries. Ampua noted that in South Korea, the number of Muslims is equivalent to 1% of the population, but halal establishments catering to them are numerous. The 10-year extension of tax perks for tourism enterprise zones, or TEZs, is seen to generate more than 160,000 jobs and at least 222 billion pesos in capital investments. This as President Rodrigo Duterte signed into law Republic Act 11262, which extends the grants of incentives to the TEZs. Through the extension, TEZ operators and registered tourism enterprises can continue to avail of fiscal incentives such as the income tax holiday, 5% gross income taxation rate, and 100% exemption on all taxes and customs duties. Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority COO Pocholo Paragas said on Tuesday that TEZ operators and locators no longer need to worry about availing of TIEZA's incentives. He noted that the incentives TIEZA offer continuously attract investments, generate employment, and promote inclusive growth. And in sports, Mighty Sports is facing tough competition as it represents the country anew in this year's Jones Cup from July 12 to 21. National teams of Iran, Japan, South Korea, Jordan, and Tunisia are confirmed to see action as they prepare for the coming FIBA World Cup in China this August. Their presence will have Mighty Sports hard-pressed to duplicate the same feat the team had in 2017 when it won the championship, being an impressive 8-game sweep. Charles Tew will call the shots again for Mighty Sports, which will be reinforced by former PBA imports Renaldo Balkman, Zachary Graham, and Eugene Phelps. The local sides are led by Phil Am's Jason Brickman, Jason Gray, Roosevelt Adams, Mikey Williams, Aaron Black, Gab Banal, and Joseph Yeo. Mighty Sports also tapped former Gilas Pilipinas mentor Rajko Toroman as part of the coaching staff. As students prepare for the first day of classes next week, some schools are taking the time to beautify and upgrade their classrooms. In Ilocos Norte, some schools take one step further by upgrading and modernizing 2 of its classrooms to keep up with the times. Joyce Cudis has the story.
The Burgos Agro-Industrial School and the Burgos Central School are now equipped with at least 2 modern classrooms complete with high-tech gadgets to catch up with the needs of today's digital learners. As host to the largest wind farm in Southeast Asia, the town of Burgos funded the construction of 2 modern classrooms in the municipality worth about 8 million pesos. In time for the opening of classes on June 3, Burgos Town students will now have a feel of what it is like to study in a 21st century learning environmental model. Inside the 2 air-conditioned classrooms, which are twice larger than a traditional classroom, are 4 computer kiosks and personal computer desktops, 50 tablets, robotic kits, 10 units mini drones, 3D printer, interactive projectors, visualizer, next build model, Wi-Fi connections, augmented reality check, Wi-Fi printer, and connectors. Mayor Rodolfo Garcia approved the utilization of the town's Special Education Fund for the construction of the pioneering modern classroom. The school's division of Ilocos Norte and the Department of Science and Technology are hoping to see the establishment of more of these classrooms to boost the education of young learners. Superintendent Vilma Eda said they are in talks with other partner agencies and local government units to help in the construction of more 21st century classrooms in the province. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Joyce Cudis.
The onset of the rainy season may be declared as early as next week. Pagasa said today that the start of the rainy season may be declared by the first or second week of June. At the same time, 5 to 8 tropical cyclones are expected to hit the country from June to August this year. Pagasa says the conditions for the rainy season are not yet satisfied even with the emergence of the southwest monsoon or habagat because the El Niño phenomenon continues to reduce chances of rain. Meanwhile, let's check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Here's another look at today's biggest stories.
Malacanang denies that President Rodrigo Duterte's trip to Japan is a reward to his cabinet members. Before leaving to Japan, President Duterte signs the tobacco tax hike bill as urgent to fund the universal health care program. Labor groups in Negocc Occidental are planning to file a formal petition for a minimum wage increase in Western Visayas in June, and schools in Ilocos Norte upgrade and modernize in time for the opening of classes.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.